Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1079.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Inflation Reduction Act because there are green home improvements that will give you tax credits for energy-efficient home products and upgrades. And this is something I wasn't really aware of until I came across this article in Kiplinger, and I wanted to share it with you because sometimes these things can be technical and they're not the kind of article that you might want to read on your own. So I'm actually going to read this article to you, so forgive me for reading the whole thing to you, but I think that's the best way to handle it because there's a lot of technical information in here. It's very detailed. It's very specific. Some of it is right out of the act and the wording from the act. So everything has to be given to you in the exact phrasing that this bill has provided for us. But the good news is there are tax credits available for specific upgrades that you make in your home. And we love that because we love remodeling and upgrading our home, we love having lower energy bills, and we love paying less in tax. So all of these things are really important for you to know and why I wanted to bring it to your attention. So this article says, save more on green home improvements under the Inflation Reduction Act. Tax credits for energy-efficient home improvements are extended and expanded by the Inflation Reduction Act. And this was written by Rocky Mengel. It says, if you're planning a few home improvements that will boost the energy efficiency of your house, you may save more money on your projects now that the Inflation Reduction Act has been signed into law. One of the bill's main goals is to address climate change and slow down global warming. And while the legislation primarily helps businesses adopt more eco-friendly measures and jumpstart clean energy production, there are incentives for ordinary Americans to go green and save some green too. For example, homeowners can cut their tax bill even more if they install new energy-efficient windows, doors, water heaters, furnaces, air conditioners, and the like. That's because the legislation extends and enhances two tax credits that reward green upgrades to your home. There are also new tax breaks for the purchase of electric vehicles and a revived tax break for installing EV recharging equipment at home. And that was something that I mentioned in a prior article, and I went through all of the vehicles that qualify under the Inflation Reduction Act and how much of a tax credit you can get. So I would refer you back to that article regarding Tesla and electric vehicles. The article goes on to say, low and moderate income families may also qualify for rebates if they purchase energy-efficient appliances. With these changes, it's a little easier going green for American homeowners. The next section is called Energy Efficient Home Improvement Credit. One of the tax credits that homeowners may be familiar with, the Non-Business Energy Property Credit, actually expired at the end of 2021. However, the Inflation Reduction Act brings it back to life, improves it substantially, and even gives it a new name, the Energy Efficient Home Improvement Credit. The old expired credit was worth 10% of the cost of installing certain energy-efficient insulation, windows, doors, roofing, and similar energy-saving improvements in your home. You could also claim the credit for 100% of the costs associated with installing certain energy-efficient water heaters, heat pumps, central air conditioning systems, furnaces, hot water boilers, and air circulating fans. However, there was a lifetime limit of $500 for the credit, e.g. credits taken in previous years counted towards the limit. There was also a $200 lifetime limit for new windows. These limits severely restricted the overall value of the credit. There were also other individual credit limits for air circulating fans, $50, some furnaces and boilers, $150, and certain water heaters, pumps, and air conditioning systems, $300. The credit is revived for the 2022 tax year, and the old rules apply. However, starting in 2023, the credit will be equal to 30% of the cost for all eligible home improvements made during the year. It will also be expanded to cover the cost of certain biomass stoves and boilers, electric panels and related equipment, and home energy audits. Roofing and air circulating fans will no longer qualify for the credit, though. Some of the energy efficiency standards will be updated as well. In addition, the $500 lifetime limit will be replaced by a $1,200 annual limit on the credit amount. The lifetime limit on windows will go away too. So, if you spread out your qualifying home projects, you can claim the maximum credit each year. The annual limits for specific credits of qualifying improvements will also be modified, and for the better. Beginning in 2023, they will be $150 for home energy audits, $250 for an exterior door, $500 total for all exterior doors, $600 for exterior windows and skylights, central air conditioners, electric panels, and certain related equipment, natural gas, propane, or oil water heaters, natural gas, propane or oil furnaces, or hot water boilers, and $2,000 for electric or natural gas heat pump water heaters, electric or natural gas heat pumps, and biomass stoves and boilers. For this one category, the $1,200 annual limit may be exceeded. For eligible home improvements after 2024, no credit will be allowed unless the manufacturer of any purchased item creates a product identification number for the item, and the person claiming the credit includes the number on his or her tax return. Then the article goes on to say, finally, the revised credit will be extended through 2032. And the next section is called Residential Clean Energy Credit. The second credit homeowners are eyeing is the Current Residential Energy Efficient Property Credit, which also gives a new name under the Inflation Reduction Act. It's now called the Residential Clean Energy Credit. The credit, which was previously scheduled to expire in 2024, is extended through 2034 as well. In addition to a name change and extension, the Inflation Reduction Act also boosts the credit amount. Previously, the credit was worth 26% of the cost to install qualifying systems that use solar, wind, geothermal, biomass, or fuel cell power to produce electricity, heat water, or regulate the temperature in your home. The credit for fuel cell equipment is limited to $500 for each 1/2 kilowatt of capacity. The credit amount was also scheduled to drop to 23% in 2023 and then expire in 2024. Under the Inflation Reduction Act, the credit amount jumps to 30% from 2022 to 2032. It then falls to 26% for 2033 and 22% for 2034. The credit will then expire after 2034. The scope of the credit is adjusted under the Inflation Reduction Act too. Starting in 2023, it no longer applies to biomass furnaces and water heaters, but it will apply to battery storage technology with a capacity of at least 3 kilowatt hours. And the next section is called Alternative Fuel Refueling Property Credit. Don't you just love these names? They go on and on. It's crazy. All right, it says the tax credit for purchasing an electric vehicle was also revamped by the Inflation Reduction Act. However, a related tax credit that may interest certain homeowners was also impacted by the legislation. The Alternative Fuel Refueling Property Credit expired at the end of 2021, but the Inflation Reduction Act gave it life again by extending its application through 2032. For homeowners, the credit is worth 30% of the cost of qualified alternative fuel vehicle refueling property installed in the home up to $1,000. For most homeowners, the qualified alternative fuel vehicle refueling property they might purchase is equipment used to recharge an electric vehicle. The credit also applies to equipment used to store or dispense an alternative fuel other than electricity for motor vehicles. Starting in 2023, the Inflation Reduction Act also clarifies that the credit applies to the purchase of bidirectional charging equipment, which can charge the battery of an electric vehicle and allow you to charge electricity from the battery back out to the electric grid. The next category is high-efficiency electric home rebates. Although not a tax credit, the High-Efficiency Electric Home Rebate Program will also help American families go green. The program, which was added by the Inflation Reduction Act, will provide rebates to low and middle income families who purchase energy-efficient electric appliances. To qualify for a rebate, your family's total annual income must be less than 150% of the median income where you live. Qualifying homeowners can get rebates as high as $840 for a stove, cooktop, range, oven, or heat pump clothes dryer, $1,750 for a heat pump water heater, and $8,000 for a heat pump for space heating or cooling. Rebates for non-appliance upgrades will also be available up to the following amounts: $1,600 for insulation, air sealing, and ventilation, $2,500 for electric wiring, and $4,000 for an electric load service center upgrade. There are limits on the amount certain families can get, though. For instance, a rebate can't exceed 50% of the cost of a qualified electrification project if the family's annual income is between 80% and 150% of the area median income. Each qualifying family will also be limited to no more than $14,000 in total rebates under the program. The $4.5 billion to be allocated for rebates will be distributed to families through state and tribal governments that establish their own qualifying programs. The funds will be available through September 30th, 2031. And at the end of the article, Kiplinger's has 6 more links that you can learn more about the Inflation Reduction Act and link to other articles. Well, that gives you some ideas for tax credits that you have available to you for being more efficient with your energy and with your electric vehicle. I will attach a link to this article in the show notes for easy reference for you. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.